Hi, I'm Lisa from the Surmulerum. I've been baking sourdough bread twice a week for a long time, but sometimes it's a bit tedious with all that hands-on work. Stretch and fold so many times, proofing, forming the bread, proofing again. And as I do have a mixer, I just wondered if it can be done in a less time-consuming way. Well, as it turns out, it can. And this way, you only have to touch the dough once. This is the one for all of you who do have and would prefer to use a mixer. So today, we're gonna make some delicious sourdough bread the easy way. But before we do, can I ask you to please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already? It's completely free and it would really help us getting our videos out to more people. Thank you so much. And now, let's get baking. We are Andy and Lise, a musician and an illustrator. This is where all our crazy ideas come together. Welcome to the Surmulerum. The day before, I take a clean quart jar and put around 75 grams of the sourdough in it. 87 grams? No big deal, it doesn't have to be exact. I feed it with 150 grams of filtered water and 150 grams of whole wheat flour, ish. Again, it does not have to be exact. Give it a good stir. Scrape down the sides and put a lid on it. I put an elastic band around the jar at the level of the sourdough to see how much it rises. Then set it aside. Mine like it here beside Gaston. You can then watch it rise as the sourdough gets ready for use. The next morning it has doubled in size. It's nice and bubbly and is now ready to use. I measure 300 grams of strong wholemeal bread flour. ,500 grams of strong white flour, ,10 grams of salt, I mix the dry ingredients together before adding 500 grams of lukewarm water. Look at the sourdough, doubled in size, lots of bubbles and clearly full of energy. I pour most of the sourdough into the bowl. I only leave enough for feeding for the next lot, around 75 grams. Again, I do not measure as it's not essential, but it's probably around 300 to 350 grams of sourdough. I give it a light stir, not because it needs it, but it prevents the dry flour from dusting everything as you start the mixer. Fit the dough hook on the mixer and mix the dough on low speed for about 10 minutes. While the dough is mixing, prepare the forms. As the dough is going to proof in the forms, it's quite important to grease them, otherwise the bread will stick to the forms. I use melted coconut oil. If you're avoiding oil, use whatever method you prefer to prevent the bread from sticking. Grease the forms well, especially up the sides and on the edges. After mixing for 10 minutes, the dough is stretchy and quite sticky. Do not add more flour. Scrape it off the dough hoop. It helps to wet the scraper with a little water. Then divide the dough in 2 parts and put it in the prepared loaf pans. It'll be around 800 grams of dough per loaf. Wet the scraper several times to prevent it from sticking too much. This is the only time you need to handle the dough. Flatten the top of the dough a bit with a wet scraper. Then use the rest of the melted coconut oil to paint the sides and the top of the dough. This prevents the cover from sticking and makes it easier to get the bread out of the pan later. I cover the pans with some wax paper just so it does not dry out too much. I've pre-folded these and stapled them together at the ends. I then put the 2 loaf pans into a cold oven. I do not switch the oven on, only the light. This gives just enough warmth for the dough to prove. I close the oven door and leave it there for 3.5 hours. After 3.5 hours, I remove the wax paper, keep the bread pans in the oven and only now switch on the oven, 220 degrees Celsius, and set the timer for 50 minutes. So, to be clear, I do not preheat the oven. After 50 minutes, the bread smells wonderful and it's ready to take out of the oven. If you fancy watching how I made my patchwork double oven glove, click on the link above or in the description below. I take the bread out of the pans right away. Don't burn yourself. Don't they look good? As soon as the bread has cooled down, I wrap the loaves in wax cloth. I don't like plastic and I try to avoid it as much as possible. If you want to see how I made my own wax cloth, click on the link above or in the description below. And now we've got the most delicious sourdough bread with minimum of hands-on work. Enjoy! Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, give us a like. Please subscribe to our channel. It's completely free. And if you hit the little bell icon, you'll be notified when we upload new videos. And remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Thank you.